I'm an over-the-road trucker. I heard you yesterday talking to a lady who called in, her husband maybe losing his job because of the vaccine mandates.
Yes.
And you said it really would only take one major CEO to really help really kind of lead this and change, the direction, maybe the way the government is going with this. I agree with that. I really think the trucking industry, the CEOs, should band together because I've seen comments in Commercial Carriers Journal. They're kind of like the Wall Street Journal for truckers. They have an 80,000 daily circulation to truckers.
Wow.
And all of these CEOs from these trucking companies, Old Dominion, U.S. Express, Werner, and the biggest one in the country, Knight Swift, they've all come out and said they don't like the mandates. They encourage people to get vaccinated, but they don't like the mandates. I don't know if the American population realizes this, but if you remember last year when COVID was just getting started, how the store shelves were empty and people were panic buying.
Right.
Well, I think that's starting to happen again. But what people don't realize is that during that time, us truckers, we were working at maximum capacity. And what I mean by that is they were asking us to stay out longer, make longer runs, and the federal government, the Department of Transportation, and a branch of them called the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, they're the ones who set the rules for all the truckers.
Yes.
They issued an emergency declaration last year, and it's still in effect this year. And what it says is that truckers, if you're carrying anything like medical supplies, cleaning products, paper products, fuel, alcohol, and you're making a critical delivery, and a law enforcement officer pulls you over for an inspection, you keep this letter in your truck and you show them that, look, I'm making a critical delivery, and it allows the truckers to operate outside of their legal hours. And my point in saying that is that trucking was working at maximum capacity and the store shelves were empty and people were panicking. People don't realize that if there's a slowdown in the trucking industry, forget about maximum capacity. It's going to get really bad. And I think these CEOs of these trucking companies have a lot of leverage if they can just band together, contact, Congress and the Biden administration and say, look, this is ridiculous, and we can't keep the shelves stocked when we're operating at full capacity. And the emergency declaration, if there's any kind of even a threat of a slowdown from the trucking industry, I think the Biden administration is going to cave on this, because there'd be chaos in the stores. People would be going, people would just be so upset over that. And I really think these CEOs ought to try to band together.
Yeah, you're right, Gene. I mean, that's what it's going to take. And, I mentioned that yesterday because of Delta and what Delta Airlines CEO did. And, I'm being a little cynical here, but I got to believe that there's some kind of gag order on news media everywhere, Fox News included. I mean, nobody's reporting it. Nobody's making a big deal of that. I think that if the news media and others would just make a big deal of that, and of course now then I read this morning, as I was talking about earlier, Southwest saying, well, we're going to take back that whole mandate thing. We're okay. They're going to take Delta's position. And so it's already started to impact. And I suspect that all the other airlines are going to do the same thing. And so it only takes, you're right, and trucking especially, they have so much clout, so much power, so to speak, that they could really change things. And I don't think there's any industry in the country other than, aside from trucking, that has more Christian CEOs than the trucking industry. I mean, some of the largest trucking companies J.B. Hunt, Tyson, and others, but so many that are especially the mid-sized companies that are solid Christian organizations that were founded on solid principles. And, they need to stand up. They need to get their voices heard, and it'll change everything. And if people start realizing that, hey, it's a difference between shelves being empty and not, they're going to stand behind the truckers. And I think other CEOs across the board are going to do the same thing. You know, they're all going to do the same thing. And, you know, Walmart, though they're not a trucking company, they have huge distribution centers. And, you know, they're truck drivers, they can't fall under those situation either, because if they were to stop, they're going to have a whole lot of shelves empty. That is for sure. So it is huge right now, and it's making America go around right now, but it can make it stop too. Hey, remember to click the subscribe button right here on the screen, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content is added. And more importantly than anything, you don't want to miss all 3 live hours of Financial Issues every day from 9 to noon. And you can watch it on FISM.tv. That's FISM.tv.